Welcome. I'm so glad you could all come for our martini tasting today. Should be an awful lot of fun. We're going to try some really interesting martinis. They're pretty much some of our most favorite. So are you guys all ready? Okay, there are crackers and cheese over on the back table. Help yourself. Have whatever you would like. Okay. And we actually have our first martini already made, already poured, ready to go. And this is our most popular martini. It's called the Bikini Martini. And it is 1 fluid ounce of coconut rum, 3/4 fluid ounces of vodka, 1 fluid ounce of pineapple juice. Let me just set these down. And 1 dash of grenadine syrup. So we're going to give you all of these recipes. And for this one, you combine the rum, vodka, and pineapple juice in a drink shaker. Shake it firmly until frothy, and then pour in a martini glass. Add just a touch of grenadine in the middle and garnish with an orange wheel. Okay, so go ahead and have a taste of that. What do you think? Isn't that great? I'm going to have a sip too. And I apologize for not introducing myself. My name is Jess, and Wendy behind me will be making the martinis as we go. So she's already working on the next martini. So you guys can keep working on that, and she will start making our next one. We're pretty much giving you our most popular martinis. This next one is very similar. It's called our pineapple upside down cake martini. And it's made with 2/3 of a cup of pineapple juice, chilled, 1/3 of a cup of vanilla flavored vodka, 1 dash of grenadine syrup, 2 pineapple wedges, and 2 maraschino cherries. So you're going to pour the pineapple juice, same as last time, vodka, grenadine into a shaker full of ice, shake, and then strain into martini glasses. And then you're going to garnish with a piece of pineapple and a cherry on a skewer. So we'll come around and start passing those out. And as we do, take your time. We are in no rush. We are just here to have a good time. So just relax. I'm just going to tell you a little bit about the martinis that we're making today as you drink, talk, and have some cheese and crackers, okay? All right. So the martini is a cocktail made with gin and vermouth and garnished with an olive or lemon twist traditionally. Over the years, the martini has become one of the best-known mixed alcoholic beverages. It's often been called the only American invention as perfect as the sonnet. E.B. White called it the elixir of quietude. Now, for me personally, I am not a fan of traditional martinis. I don't like very bitter drinks, and I do find the gin and vermouth bitter for me. But I do really like these more fanciful martinis that are more popular nowadays. So that's why we're trying a lot of different options. The traditional method of preparation is to pour gin and dry vermouth into a mixing glass with ice cubes. Stir, strain into a chilled cocktail glass, and then garnish with a green olive or a lemon peel. The ratio of gin to vermouth has been steadily increasing since the cocktail was created. A ratio of 1:1 was common at the turn of the century, and 3:1 or 4:1 martinis were typical during the 1930s or 1940s. During the latter part of the 20th century, 6:1, 8:1, 12:1, or even 50:1 or 100:1 martinis became considered the norm. And there have always been those who advocated the elimination of vermouth altogether. Yes, Noel Coward actually suggested that the ideal martini should be made by filling a glass with gin and then waving it in the general direction of Italy. Italy, along with France, is the major producer of vermouth. So again, the martini was often very popular with writers and was often mentioned in creative processes and actually in books themselves. There are a number of variations on the traditional martini, of which we are going to have a few today, but of course the most popular or most well-known is the James Bond's vodka martini, shaken, not stirred. Yes, so it can also be made with vodka. Martini may also be served on the rocks, that is, with the ingredients poured over cubes and then served in an old-fashioned glass. And you may have heard the term dirty martini, and that contains a splash of olive brine or olive juice and is typically garnished with an olive. A perfect martini uses equal amounts of sweet and dry vermouth. Are there any questions? Okay, well, let's move on to the next martini. And if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to ask. So the next very popular martini is our cranberry martini. So this is 1.5 fluid ounces or 1 jigger of vodka, half a fluid ounce of orange liqueur, half a fluid ounce of dry vermouth, and 2 jiggers, or again 1.5 fluid ounces of cranberry juice. We pour that into a cocktail shaker. Shake vigorously to chill. We're going to pour that out into your martini glasses. And we'll pass those around. Now we're going to garnish those with some cranberries. You can put salt, or in this case, you'd probably put sugar on the rim of the martini glass if you're trying to get fancy. But this is another lovely martini recipe. You really do want to know your measurements. bartenders can sort of casually toss ingredients in, but they really probably have made these drinks so many times that they can by eye make a perfect pour. To a true aficionado, the amount of ingredients included play a key role in the taste and lingering flavor of the drink. Martini recipes can talk about either ounces, splashes, jiggers, dashes, ponies, and parts. There's a lot of different terms, and often you have to look them up. Our recipes all will have ounces or jiggers. You can also sometimes find fingers, drops, and centiliters. Yeah, but again, all of our recipes are going to be pretty basic. We want you to be able to replicate this at home and share this experience with your friends. But you do want to be very careful with the measurements. It can really affect the drink, especially if you want them to taste what you tasted here. And it's fine to experiment, but realize you're creating a new recipe, and you kind of have to learn the rules of making a good martini first before you experiment too much. Okay, so are you ready for the next one? All right. Dirty martinis are very popular, but we're actually not going to make one today because we found that the majority of our guests do not enjoy them. Again, because they're very bitter. They're bitter, and then they're also sour, I think, with the little bit of olive juice in them. So some people love them, and that's wonderful if you do. But I'm not a big fan, and most of our guests aren't either. So we are going to go on to a now very popular and have become almost a classic chocolate martini. And this will include 4 fluid ounces of chocolate liqueur, 3 fluid ounces of vodka, and 1 ounce square of semi-sweet chocolate grated. So we're just going to put in the cocktail mixer the chocolate liqueur and vodka. Again, this is probably our most simple, delicious but simple martini drinks. Okay, and then we're going to strain it. This makes 2 martinis, this recipe. And then we're going to put the shaved chocolate on top as a garnish. So we're going to pass those around. Okay. You can try those. I'm going to actually have a sip of that myself. I try not to drink too much on these, as we do have several martinis, and I may not make much sense by the end if I have much. Okay. And while you enjoy those, I can talk a little bit about the history. The exact origin of the martini is unclear. Numerous cocktails with names and ingredients similar to the modern-day martini were first seen in bartending guides in the late 19th century. So, for example, the 1888 Bartender's Manual, there was a recipe for a drink that consisted of half a wine glass of gin and half a wine glass of vermouth. So again, very, very similar. In 1863, an Italian vermouth maker started marketing their product under the brand name Martini. This product is still available today, although it is now better known as Martini and Rossi, which most of you have. So another popular theory suggests it evolved from a cocktail called Martinez, served in the Occidental Hotel in San Francisco. sometime in the early 1860s, which people frequented before taking an evening ferry to the nearby town of Martinez. Alternatively, the people of Martinez say the drink was first created by a bartender in their town, or maybe the drink was named after the town. So again, there's a lot of theories going around out there. Another one says that the first dry martini was created by a bartender at the Knickerbocker Hotel in New York City in 1911 or 1912. There's another belief that the martini was invented in San Francisco. And that's by the self-styled Court of Historical Review in San Francisco. They decided that it was made there. And a court in Martinez, California, recently overturned this decision. Again, these courts have neither legal or academic authority. They are primarily for entertainment. So, there's people being silly. But again, if you've ever gone to Singapore and gone to the Raffles Hotel, you can see that being considered the home of a drink, like the Singapore slang, you can charge about 4 times or even more than everyone else does for that drink, and people will still come to sit at your bar and have this signature drink where it was created. So there is some significant money floating around. If one of these hotels could definitively prove that they were the home of the martini, there would probably be a considerable tourist trade around it. During Prohibition, the relative ease of illegal gin manufacture led to the martini's rise as the predominant cocktail of the mid-20th century in the United States, which is one of the reasons it's such a popular drink today. With the repeal of Prohibition and the ready availability of quality gin, the drink became progressively drier. In the 70s and 80s, the martini came to be seen as old-fashioned and was replaced by more intricate cocktails with wine spritzers, but the mid-1990s saw a resurgence in the drink and an explosion of these new versions that we're trying now. And again, some of the new drinks that include the word martini or the suffix "tini" at the end, like apple teenies, peach martini, the chocolate one we just had, these are named after the martini cocktail glass. So they use and generally contain vodka. And again, they're served in a martini glass, but as we see from what a traditional martini is, they don't share a lot with the gin and vermouth straight martini. But they're a lot of fun, so we're going to have them anyway. So, the next martini that we are going to try is a blueberry vodka martini. So, Wendy is going to mix this one up. Actually, I think she's already working on it. With 1 liter of vodka and a pint of blueberries, rinsed and dried. So we're going to pour out 1/3 of the bottle of vodka into a holding container and set it aside. And then we're going to score each of the blueberries with a small nick and place it into the vodka bottle, which Wendy has done before. With the vodka previously set aside, we're going to fill the vodka bottle until it's just below the neck. Add just enough raspberry liqueur to top off the bottle. And then you let that sit in a dark place for 2 weeks. So we did this, again, we do this martini tasting every week here at the hotel. So what we do is about pretty much the day after each martini tasting, we're going to make a new bottle of this sort of blueberry vodka liqueur with the raspberry in it. So then Wendy put that in a cocktail shaker with ice. And it's 2 parts of the blueberry vodka, 1 part raspberry liqueur, and then a dash of lime juice. And again, Wendy's got that already. Thank you, Wendy. I'm going to pour those and pass them around. Now, this is always nice if you're trying to impress your friends. I'm going to garnish it with a little lime zest. And again, to show that you sort of made this blueberry vodka, always is sort of impressive. So it's one where you want to pull out this elaborate vodka bottle with the blueberries in it and then make that martini in front of your friends. Again, it's just shaking it in a shaker with a little bit more raspberry liqueur and the lime juice. But again, it looks very impressive, and it looks like you put a lot of thought into your party. Which you probably did if you, at least 2 weeks before, made this blueberry vodka. But again, it's not a lot of work to make it. It just takes some time, and it's very impressive. So we pass those around. Again, if you want to take some time and have some cheese, have some crackers. I hope everybody's having fun. And now we're going to make an awesome apple martini. Again, apple martinis are always so popular, and you know, sometimes they're called the apple-tinis. This will probably be the last martini that we have. Unless Wendy has something up her sleeve I don't know of. So this is 1 fluid ounce of apple schnapps, 1 fluid ounce of vodka, and 1 fluid ounce of apple juice. Again, this is a nice sweet drink. And you're going to just put all those in the shaker, mix well, and then pour out into your martini glasses. And if you want to garnish, you can use a Granny Smith apple that you've sliced in the middle. Just put on the edge. Yep, we have some here. We'll pass those around. And we'll give you a chance to ask some questions. And if you have any favorites that you'd like to try again, I know Wendy has left over. And a lot of people will claim that high-priced spirits won't make a drink taste better, but we don't agree here at the hotel. We feel like the cheap spirits have a huge impact on how the martini tastes. We like to use good vodka, good gin, and you'll be glad you spent the extra money, especially if you're doing like a martini tasting party for your friends. Saving a few dollars is fine, but not when it comes to making kind of the perfect martini drink. So, you know, do splurge on the good stuff. It does really make a difference in a lot of these drinks. Okay. All right, so shaken, not stirred. All right. Well, I'm not going to talk about shaken, not stirred too much because it really is preference. But when you shake your martini, you can really control the flavor of your martini simply by modifying your shaking. So, vigorous shaking dilutes your drink more. Smooth shaking mixes the ingredients. So if you want your martini to have a concentrated flavor that takes people by surprise, again, you want to shake it enough so that the ingredients are mixed, but shaking it too vigorously will dilute it as well. Now, some of us like our drinks a little bit more diluted, and you may know your friends that would like a more diluted drink, so you can oblige without watering down their drink specifically. Now, the one exception to that is if you're using heavy cream-based liqueurs. In that case, you really want to shake it well to make sure that it's properly mixed. You don't want your cream sitting on the bottom or the top of the glass. That doesn't look pretty. And again, I hate to say this, but you really want to make sure that everything you're using is very clean. Especially for doing multiple martinis, we have lots of shakers, we have lots of different implements that we can use, so we can just throw them in the sink, and we have staff that will come and wash them. So sometimes it's tempting to reuse something, but again, it will really alter the taste. Even the ice from your freezer, you need to make sure that's clean. That will alter the taste. And the main reason is martinis are very simple drinks. You know, many of these have 3 ingredients, sometimes just 2. If you're making a traditional martini, it's 2 ingredients. This means that the flavor can easily be contaminated if your ice has been sitting in your freezer for too long. It may have absorbed the odors of other foods in your freezer, and it can ruin an otherwise great martini. And again, martinis are really a matter of personal taste. What you think is a perfect martini, somebody else may think is terrible. So that's one of the reasons why these martini tastings are fun, because you give a lot of different options, and usually everyone at the party can find one that they like. And you can even find people who will tell you that they don't like martinis. Usually by the end of a tasting, they've found at least one that they really enjoy. Any other questions that you have? Okay. Well, Wendy, have you done any other, do you have any specialty martinis that you've come up with as a surprise? You usually do. Oh, you've done a lemon drop? Okay. So I'm going to pass out the recipe for this. Wendy usually comes up with something special, and a lemon drop is lovely. And we have these very cute spacey martini glasses we can give you. So does everybody have a recipe now? Okay. So the way that you make a lemon drop is you're going to moisten the edges of a martini glass with a little lime juice, and then dip the moistened edge into sugar. That's how, if you want to do sugar or salt, again, you wouldn't do salt on most martinis, but if you want to do sugar, and then you're going to place a lemon zest strip in the glass. And Wendy has combined the vodka, which you're going to use 1 jigger of citron vodka, so 1.5 fluid ounces. Lime juice, and you're going to use ½ ounce of lime juice. Sweet and sour mix, and that's 1 ounce of sweet and sour mix. And your ice in a shaker. And then you're going to strain it out into your martini glass. Again, the sugar was just on the side. And then there's your lemon drop. So it's really lime juice rather than lemon juice, and then the citron vodka. Well, I hope you guys have had a lot of fun. This has been a lot of fun for me. I love doing these. I really do love martinis, and it's always fun to try the different kinds and pick your favorites and get to discuss them. And since you guys are here in the hotel and you all have your own kitchens, we do sell most of the products to use to make the martinis in our store. So you can even go back to your room and do another martini tasting with your favorites for anyone else you have staying here who wasn't able to make it tonight, or throw a party. Okay. Well, this was so much fun. I'm so glad you all came. Feel free to stay and mingle. Again, we have you here in the lounge, so you're welcome to spend as much time here as you'd like, and the crackers and cheese are in the back. And thank you all for coming. It was a wonderful time. Okay. Take care.